Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? Hope you're all doing very, very well. And to all my friends in LA and California, I really mean hope you're doing very, very, very well, because what a nightmare. What a nightmare out there. It's apocalypse. It is. Now, I've been asked over the last few days to talk about this, and I was kind of like, well, I stray away from modern day affairs, real life stuff taking place, because you can be cancelled in the blink of an eye for saying the wrong thing. And you guys know me, the old magazine editions where I talked about everything that was happening, and I tried to put a fun spin on things, but I always talk down about authority and the way that things, red tape, bureaucracy, politics, and the lies and deceit that happens. Well, okay, I've not done that for a long time, because you can't say what you feel. You can't say what's real. You can't say what's really happening, because you will be destroyed. Anyway, destroyed, destruction, LA, the wildfires. Sweet Jesus Christ, this is genuinely apocalyptic stuff, and it's heartbreaking. It genuinely is. Now, look, I know a lot of people are going like, well, they're rich and famous, you know, they deserve to lose their houses. It's all sexploitation and all child pornography and all this. I know all this shit everyone says about the hoi polloi of Hollywood. But really, folks, really? So, if you guys watch this channel, you're into movies. If you guys are into movies, then you kind of like the people in the movies. Otherwise you wouldn't be here, would you? Would you? So suddenly, you know, Hollywood stars are losing their homes, and I have been bombarded with shit from people saying like, well, they deserve it. It's Sodom and Gomorrah. You know, they've been sacrificing babies. They've been doing all this kind of crap. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, the guy that denounced all this, Mr. Mel Gibson, Mad Mel Gibbo himself, lost his house. Jeff Bridges lost his house. Sir Anthony Hopkins lost not one but two houses, two homes in this conflagration, which is completely consuming southern California and, you know, the outer regions of Los Angeles. And I find it utterly horrific and typical of social media to leap on, well, they deserve it, don't they? I can tell you right now, if you think these people deserve to have their homes roasted, razed to the ground, and have nothing left, and you still watch my channel, you can fuck off right now. You don't belong here. We watch movies. These people make movies that we watch and we love and we talk about. We buy all the merch, and suddenly they lose something. And when they're rich, they can do whatever they want. If you had their position to be in a movie, to make money, you would probably be out there in Malibu. You know, you'd be out there, Pacific Palisades. You'd be out there on these lovely, luxurious LA residences. You'd be out there. Don't come to me and say like, no, I wouldn't. You fucking would. You might not live there all the time. I would happily have a place out Pacific Palisades. Well, maybe not now, but I would have done. But I'd love to be in, I don't know, Montana. A ranch in Montana is my ideal, without a doubt. If I can't own an island just off the western coast of Scotland, then it's the frontier lands of North America would be ideal for me. So, LA, I've been to LA, well, twice, and a third time where we just drove really around it. I'm not a fan of LA, I never have been, I'll be honest with you. It's the dichotomy, the huge swathe between the elite and the homeless, which is right there. It's not just in LA, you've got it in San Francisco, and you've got it in Las Vegas, massively. And it's horrible to see. You've got people with money and you've got people with nothing. You know, Tent City is just there, and my God, it's kind of wrong. But that's society in general. That's across the globe. People who have money flaunt the money. People who have no money tend to gravitate to places where people have the money, and they're like, oh, look at us, look at us, look at us. You know, we've got nothing. Now that said, LA has one of the best, most clement climates ever. So people on the streets in LA, and by the way, I abhor anyone having to live on the streets, but they're never freezing cold like we have in the UK. Now, right now in the UK, right now, we've had days and days of sub-zero temperatures and freezing snow and ice and thunder snow, fucking thunder snow. And of course, my dog, my husky, my best friend, died over Christmas. And she'd have loved what happened ever since. And I've been out in a kilt and a vest, strutting my stuff in sub-zero temperatures, because I don't give two shits about the weather. Because Kilt-Man is bigger and better than what that can throw at me. Now, that's just me. But I drink whiskey. Not right now, but I've been out. I've had loads of whiskey, so now I've come back home to the rather shitty supply of this stuff. You know. So fire water runs through my veins, and I do go out and strut my stuff in massively sub-zero temperatures because I trained in it in Norway. I know about really, really bad temperature, and also I know that this stuff here, see this covering here, is pretty damn good, and it's also up here. Obviously, I don't climb mountains like this. I don't do that. That'd be damn stupid. But I do go out in very nasty -degree temperatures. And people go, oh my God, you must be freezing. Oh, I look at you and I just freeze. And they go, well, I go, touch me. And they go, like, and this is in the pubs and the clubs. And they go, like, God, you're warm. You're warm. And then they begin, it's great. I get caressed and all sorts. It's wonderful. I don't feel the cold like most people do. It's probably a medical condition, which will probably see me off before I even know it, you know. But back to LA. This stuff, I've been watching it since it unfolded in Tuesday last week. We're now on Monday. Not Monday. This is Sunday, the 12th of January, 2025. And LA and Southern California has had wildfires for, God, centuries. It just, the Santa Ana winds, the devil's wind blows off the Great Basin and it travels eastwards down the Sierra Nevada, and it comes over and then it hits Southern California and LA in particular, and Baja. And what happens is, like, it travels downwards. These are extremely strong hot winds, which they travel down and they hit the cooler air coming off the Pacific, and then it becomes really combustible. But the Santa Ana winds are so strong, they dispel everything off the sea, but they travel down and they go across the ridges and down. And the southern LA County and all those regions there, they're built on these ridges, like steps sort of thing. And it comes down and it decimates everything. It literally over 100-mile-per-hour winds. It's regular. You guys in LA, you know this. It's there. It's a very prevalent thing. Autumn time, I think, is the worst time for it, which I'm afraid you've got it right now, autumn, winter. And it's really coming across, and it doesn't stop, it's incessant. And what it does, it's hot air as well. And it ignites anything in its path because it's hot, arid ground. Remember that. LA and Southern California is on arid desert terrain. Yes, you've got an ocean right there, but you're not built on that, and the cooling breeze from that does not really compensate for what's coming down against you off the Great Basin. You know, it's hugely nasty, hot, strong wind. Now, LA and Southern California have had no rain for 10 to maybe 12 months, so almost a year of no rain. Northern California did get rain, and it was forecast, it was due for Southern California. It didn't happen. No, didn't happen. No, didn't get the rainfall. So everywhere is tinder dry, scorched, and then you get the Santa Ana devil's wind comes through, and something sparks up, and then you get it across numerous ridges, numerous valley sides, and then it just descends, it comes down, and it consumes everything in its path. Now, if you've been watching this, it's been terrifying to behold. The footage is beyond belief. Just, 3, 4 miles, 5 miles of just sheets of, walls of fire. Absolutely the worst thing you can imagine. And it's coming towards your block, your street, your town. So many Pacific Palisades, but so many other areas. Palisades was the first big one, which is still, they still can't control this now, of course. But then other fires struck up everywhere else, just like everywhere. I've got the names of them: the Kenneth Fire, Palisades Fire, the Hearst Fire, the Lydia Fire, the Eaton Fire, and there's probably more little flare-ups going on everywhere, left, right, and centre. And because of that bloody wind and the unpredictability of the wind and what flames do, flames don't act like you think they're going to do. I've got the vintage oven and overhead grill over there. You can see it over there, just behind my shoulder, right there. You've seen it in videos of me cooking with Kilty. I've used it, and it's great, primitive, old school. You can't get the parts for it now, but my God, it works better than anything you can buy these days. Because everything you buy these days has got an inbuilt, dying date, like a replicant, like Blade Runner. Too bad she won't live. Well, because they're not built to live. Ours was built to last, and it's still going. And we got that when? 1990. 1990! We're now 2025, and it's still going strong. But, so fires, if you control them, they're great. But fires can't be controlled when they're out in the wild. And with wind, and it's a hot wind as well. And it moves at speed, so it sends fires everywhere. Embers leap from a conflagration here in someone's garden. An ember leaps to the next person's garden, and then that goes up. But not only that, you get the fire plumes. Fire, you can't ignite, a roadway. It's not going to do that. It'll burn the cars part of it, which is done on the coastal road. Oh God, you've seen all the burnt out hulks there. But what it'll do in housing estates and villages and towns, and you've got all these buildings and structures, one is on fire, the next one might not be on fire, but it doesn't matter, a plume of fire will go, the wind will hit it and it'll form an arc and go right over the street, take out the cars and the front garden and the front of any property there, and boom, then the next block is taken up, and that'll do the same. It'll leapfrog over and over and over again because of the wind and because of the temperature. Now, temperature affects the wind as well. So you've got a wall of flame and the wind, the Santa Ana wind, is still blowing in. Well, that temperature will affect the direction and velocity of the wind. The wind will react to the temperature. It'll be drawn back, or it'll divert. Wind tends to divert or go over, so it'll find a way around a wall of heat and then obviously ignite something else beyond. So this is why it's leapfrogging over, blocks and tenements and and streets. It's unbelievably nasty. Of course, the people who are in charge of this, the Forest Services, US Forest Service, US Fire Departments, and LA County Fire Departments, and LA Sheriff's Department. You see, this is the thing that I've always said about America. America has too many people, too many cooks in the kitchen, and it's just too many Indians in the teepee. It's just ridiculous. You need to have, distinct people that do the job, and they're all doing their job. Don't get me wrong. They're not fucking about. But what happened again? Oh, there's no water in the fire hydrants. They're running out too quickly. We've got 55,000 gallons in a fire appliance, but that's going to last long. Once we've used it. And another appliance. Well, what can we do? Where's the fire hydrants? Where's the water supply? It isn't there. The big reservoir just north of LA, the massive reservoir, closed. It was closed throughout all of this, still is, and they can't use it. Ooh, that's weird, isn't it? There's no fire in the hydrants. There's no water pressure where there is fire. There's no water in the hydrants, and there's no water pressure in the hydrants where they're working. So it's just like leaking, drip, drip, drip from the nozzles. Why is that? Why build all your houses out of it's just fuel for fires? You're in an area of earthquakes, an area where wildfires are massively rife. LA's had these for a long time, never to this level of severity, never. But they've dealt with it in the past. This could have been dealt with and looked after. Local fucking, policies and procedure, local governments, what's his name? Gavin Newsom, Governor, California. And what's her face? The other bitch. The other fucking bitch. Karen Bass. Karen Bass, who's the mayor of LA. Who didn't give any resources, any funding to resources. They did it, diversity and inclusion and equality. You want your fire person to look like one of you, and stymie the entire recruitment campaign for firefighters. What? What difference does it matter what colour or ethnicity you are? My house is on fire. I don't care what you're gonna have tentacles. Just fucking put the fire out. You're not going to worry about who they are. People want them to look like themselves. Oh, fucking bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Blood on your hands. 16, at the time of this recording, there's 16 deaths. 16 deaths. That's gonna go way, way up. At the time of this recording, there's 23 arrests for looting. That really has gone up, because in the time that I saw 23, another report said there was like X amount who were dressed as firefighters. They were illegally dressed as firefighters, going in to robbing people's houses. After everyone evacuated from certain areas, they were going in. You see, like, you have people that will fight the fires, and you have people who will come up with charities. I'll give you breakfast, I'll give you food, I'll give you shelter, I'll give you clothing, I'll give you whatever. And a lot of the community all around these areas has come out, you know, in a abundance and been brilliant. So you've got that, and you've got these humane societies looking after the animals, because people have left without, you know, their pets. Because the houses are being consumed, and I can't find my dog or my cat. So people have found these things afterwards, these animals, and took them into sanctuaries. So all these people are now trying to repatriate themselves with their pets. Don't get me wrong. That's a pet is a family member. I don't care. You know what anyone says about that. You know, oh, you run away. You know, you save yourself. Well, yeah, you do. There's a cut-off point where everyone will save themselves. There is, sadly. Although many of us will die alongside a loved one. If we can't get away, and they can't get away, then you're not going to leave them behind. But, you know, so I'm getting distracted now with the animals, and I'm going to. I lost Roxy, you know, at Christmas, and so I obviously think about how would that have affected us. I would not have left Roxy behind. But there's numerous stories of animals that have been rescued and put into put in the back of a car, and then in the panic they fled out the back of the car again into a blazing house, their home. And like the owners are like, oh God, what do I do? I can't go in now. I'm gonna burn to death. I'm like, it's horrendous. So these fires, they leap from street to street. They literally straddle areas, and because of the wind and the unpredictability of the wind and the severity of its wind flow, these things retreat and then come back again and spark up behind the firefighters. So you have firefighters who become like a forest fires, which is exactly the same sort of thing. Or wildfire is like a forest fire, just without the big forestry area. Forests create their own environments, and firefighters get dropped in and try to, you know, expunge certain areas and put out the fires and stop it from going any further. But the fire comes round behind them. Now that's happening in LA right now. Now that's, to my knowledge, has never happened in an urban environment other than the Blitz. The Blitz in London, the Blitz in Manchester, the Blitz in Liverpool, World War II, which of course my country, the UK, knows all about. To be trapped inside that is a hellish thing. You ain't going to get out of it, and you are not going to get out of that. Now these firefighters are risking life and limb. They're dousing down the flames there. They're trying to stop it from coming any further. But it's a wall of fire, which is stretching miles down the road and coming furthermore coming down the ridge. And there's houses here, and as I said before, embers are flying over and setting fire to things behind you, and then you get the arc of fire. Fire does move in a really almost malevolent way. Because of the wind, because of the temperature, because of whatever's being put in front of it, it will leap over things. The wind will take it. Santa Ana wind will take it, and it curls across streets and ignites another property there. And you're like, oh shit, so we're fighting this. and all of a sudden it's ignited a property behind you, which has just gone completely up, and then the next one. So you're now trapped between two walls of fire. You think about that. The properties in Malibu and Pacific Palisades and pretty much all of this area, they're made of combustible materials because, yeah, they may be glorious, luxurious mansions, but they're going to go up in ash within seconds. They're not built to last this, which is again another complete and utter fuck up for LA. You built properties out of fuel for fires. That's what you did, and that was a big mistake, methinks. So they're going to go up like a tinderbox. Poof, the ground is arid. You live in an arid area. You need to have fire breaks. You need to have proper land provision, and you didn't do it. Now, this is no slight on the people of LA or the population there. It is a massive in-your-face for Gavin Newsom and the bitch in charge of Karen Boss, the mayor of LA. Massive slap in the face for you. Funding diverted away from firefighting when you knew it was foretold this was going to happen. In the last 2 decades, you've had multiple more wildfires, more dangerous ones than ever before. It was a disaster just in the waiting. It was coming, and now you've got it. You didn't prepare for it. You closed the reservoir down, and you didn't have water pressure. You didn't have any water in any of the hydrants, so the firefighters had nothing to use, and you allowed this to happen. You didn't put fire breaks in order. You didn't have anyone on the ground who was assessing, look, this is tinder dry. We need to put fire retardants down now to set in these fire diversions. You've seen the big transport planes going over now with the red chemical coming down, fire retardant. And what that does, it's a chemical reactant which will stop oxygen getting to the fire. So it forms a fire break. It'll drop down, and it comes down in tons and tons and tons. But you can only do so much, obviously. A plane can only carry so much. And it fills this area and forms a stopgap. But the fucking fire can leap over and also come around. So, you've got this, and they know that. But this is why you keep hearing on the news about how much have they decommissioned of the fire? How much are they controlled? Well, who's the big one? The Palisades fire. I think for the last 2-3 days they had about 6 to 8% of it. I think today they claim they've controlled 11%, but that's 11%. That's 11%. So that's still a fucking huge blaze, which is still moving across, this area and heading towards new areas of suburbia. People. LA, folks. LA. Hollywood, the home of Hollywood. So let's talk about Hollywood for a second. So we had the Golden Globes, didn't we? I think we did. And what an irony, a roasting took place. But nowhere near to the degree of Ricky Gervais, who was the king of roasting. Ricky, Sir Rick of the Gervais. I salute you, sir. So the Oscars, well, they're going to be postponed by the looks of things. Lots of movie premieres were delayed, postponed. Wolfman again, and Wolfman, there you go. Hey, that's gone. Understandably. Film studios, I don't think have been yet affected, but because it hasn't hit, the central of LA and all that, it hasn't hit the studio area, Hollywood itself. It hasn't, but you can't rule it out. The winds have died down for now, but now this is Sunday. I forgot the date again. Sunday the 12th of January 2025. But in the next couple of days, the winds are set to come back again with a massive vengeance. And you can't put down all of these fires. So embers still exist. And once those winds hit them again, they're going to ignite all over again. So the whole thing, even if you think you've killed it off tonight or tomorrow, it's going to kick off again in a couple of days' time, and possibly even worse. And are they prepared for it? Well, they now know what it can do, so you would think they're prepared for it, but I bet you any money, they're not. They're not. So, Hollywood again. Loads of stars have lost their houses. Did I mention it before? Yeah. Mel Gibson, Jeff Bridges, Anthony Hopkins, 2 houses. Billy Crystal, Paris Hilton, John Goodman, Anna Friel, who's from here, from Liverpool, Kerry Elmes, and the James Woods one was unusual because James Woods was interviewed and really had a tough time with a really shitty interviewer, and she wouldn't literally let him speak, and his house survived. His house is okay. You had Jamie Lee Curtis. Oh God, this bitch. I don't know where to begin with her. Halloween, The Fog. Loved her as a screen queen. Think she's great as an actress. Trading places, and nice boobage. Fucking whatever. Cunt of a woman. Massively outspoken, but also ridiculously uneducated in the same way. What did she go and do? She likened this to what's happening in Gaza. Well, what do you think is going to happen there? This is a natural disaster. Gaza is a war-torn, hellish environment. It's war. It's not the same thing. And she did this, and of course the backlash has been huge against her, and rightly so. I think she really said the wrong thing there. But everyone's, lost my house. She hasn't lost her house, by the way. She hasn't lost her house. Not yet, anyway. Apparently, the situation is gnarly. No, I'm not going to saying like, certain celebrities I love, certain ones I hate. Hope you lose your house. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to do that because, I don't want anyone to lose their homes. And what a horrible prospect. And the people whose house has survived, everyone else has been wiped out, and they have to go back to their house. Well, ours miraculously survived, because it happens. Fire can just leap and just ignore certain places. Providence, who the hell knows what happens? And there's loads of stories of this already. Well, like, my house is the one standing, but I've lost all my friends, all my community. I've lost all my neighbours. I've lost everybody. The village shops, everywhere I went, it's gone. That's just my house, just there with a plateau of blighted, wasteland. Well, it's not what you bought it for. It's not why you moved there. So you've lost just as much as everybody else, because yours now means nothing. And then you get Jamie Lee Curtis saying shit like that. You know what I mean? Oh dear God. So Gavin Newsom I don't know if you saw the footage of this guy. Politicians always do this. They go to areas where there's been shit happening, whether it being a mass murder, a mass shooting, a serial killer, the buildings collapsed. They do this because they've got because we believe in the public, and I'm gonna come here and show my face. And then they say, well, we'll do whatever we can. It's all, they roll their sleeves up. And I'm like, I'm going to get involved in this. Remove rubble. They do nothing. They do absolutely nothing. And Gavin Newsom, he was there. And this woman come out and she wore a mask over her face. Not one of your fucking COVID wanky fucking bullshit masks. No. The air is now consumed with ash and soot. You can't breathe it. The water is contaminated as well, so you can't drink tap water. In California, I never didn't drink tap water. I always drink bottled water, but you can't do it now. It's bottled water anyway. So he's there, and you've probably seen the footage. And this woman, watch the full footage though. This woman comes out. He's the governor. No, he's the governor of California. Fuck's sake, what are you going to do? And he's like, I'm on the phone to the president now. So, are you? Well, let me speak to him as well. He's like, well, I can't get a signal. Well, no, when you get a signal, let me speak to him. I'm trying to find a signal. And he's panicking. And because he's being confronted on camera as well. Well, what are you going to do? I'm going to do everything I can to help you. She went, okay, there's a fire hydrant there with water in it. Are you going to come and help me get water out of that to douse down these houses? You're going to do this? You're going to come up? And he's like, I'm trying to make this phone call. The phone call that you can't make. And I want to be there for that phone call. And he runs a fucking mile, tries to get back in his car. And she won't let him go. Hats off to that girl. Hats off to that girl. Won't let this bastard, this fucking bureaucratic twat get away with it. I applaud her. In the UK, we have a New Year's honours list of people who've done things for the community, for sports, for the media, for literature, for whatever. And most of them don't fucking deserve a damn thing. And they go and queue up like a knobheads, to get this little medal, this little knighthood, or whatever they fucking get. Fucking bullshit. All of it's bullshit. She deserves something, some kind of credit. I hope Trump comes in and is like you called out this twat, because Trump hates him with a vengeance. Now, I'm not going to bring politics into it, although you have to, because politics rules everything that you do. The air you breathe, the food you eat, everything. In the UK, we are suffering big, bad shite because of politicians who are lying and taking everything away from us. And now in LA, they're going to get called out because those local politicians did not put into practice land organisation for wildfires. They didn't put in fire breaks. They didn't traffic the land properly. It was all tinder. There's no water. There's no nothing. There's no budget for the fire department. What's her name? Kristen Crowley, who's the head of the LA Fire Department, lambasted Karen Bass, the LA mayor, and fucking Gavin Newsom, for you did nothing for us. You knew this was going to happen. This was bound to happen at some point, and you did nothing. You put nothing in place. No fire breaks, no land sort of organisation, no putting fertile ground in, and not making it arid as hell, and trying to combat this and put different housing in. You build on these ridges, all these little hills, Southern California. They're terraces, and the Santa Ana wind comes down over that and carries the flames straight down through it all. Santa Ana winds blow out to the Pacific. blow dust and ash and debris out there. They happen like 12, 15 times a year, something like that, and they are really, really bad. But they're well known, and people accept that. They don't always cause this, but it's always wildfires. But it was always known that this was going to be a huge thing, and now you've got it. But they didn't put anything in place. They took back the budget. As I said before about diversity and equality. Well, we need to have firefighters who look like the local population. You need a firefighter who can just put out a fucking fire. What the hell? What the fucking hell is that about? In all of this, you've got people who are genuine heroes. Evacuation orders are put in place. But like, I've lived here for multiple generations. My house is 100 years old. I'm not going to leave it. And I get that. I'm going to stay and fight. It's a last stand. And we know, it's massively been documented now that people are going, I'm not leaving, I don't care. I'm going to put hoses down. I'm going to soak all the foliage, the hedges, the garden in front, the fences. I'm going to do everything I can to protect my house. And it hasn't worked for them. Their fatal last decision has been their demise. And I will never knock anyone for that. It's your home. You've lived there for like 30, 40, 50 years. More in some cases. Why are you going to give it up? I'm going to run away. I can fight this. I at least owe it to myself and my house, my home, that I'm going to fight to defend it. And I love that. Sadly, it hasn't worked in a good few cases. But there have been people that survived who've done exactly that. This is the unpredictability. There's a guy, there's a video floating around of he's been interviewed several times, and he bought a house, I think back in the 90s, and they lost that house to a fire. Sorry, a wildfire. And he went, that'll never happen again. I will die to defend my next house. So when all this kicked off, he had his own massive water pumps and supply and loads of high pressure hoses. So when his family bugged out, but he stayed. I'm going to stay, but I'm going to defend this, and he did, and he hosed on it. Now it's you can't write this sort of stuff because it could have gone horribly wrong. A wall of flame could have come over the back of the house and he'd be gone within seconds, just incinerated. But he hosed on everything and he kept that property. It's damaged, but he kept it standing, and everything, all the possessions are still fine. So he did well there. And of course, all that area now is now, it's been scorched, and well, you would think the flames couldn't come back there. And I don't think they won't come back in this particular flame out, but they could come back next time. I don't know, it's a horribly scary thing. In the UK, we have wildfires as well. Now, we never used to have them, but going back, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, I didn't go on this trip, but Mrs. Kilt-Man and my kids did, and they stayed Sheffield, and you got the moors above Sheffield, and forest wildfires took place, and they were staying in a campsite, and she sent me pictures back of they were sitting where you and me are right now, and there's a little ridge there, a little lovely idyllic grassy ridge, and there is smoke pluming right the way over. There is a wall of heat and flame, and there are helicopters and planes dropping water all over these. And because they thought, we can't go there because the fire was already raging across the moors, and the campsite saying, "Oh yeah, we're okay. We're not in the wind direction, so we should be all right." Well, they were all right. We don't get the Santa Ana winds, which are unpredictable, because they blow in they come down the valleys and they sweep through Orange County and all that, and they massively they can divert, they can split and come over the top, but they seek to go down. So of course LA and Southern California is built on these plateaus of ridges and hills going down to the coastline. So it comes over and it loves it, and it loves these little diversions, little valley here, little ridge there, and we're going to come out and like fucking, whoa, it can come out in different directions and take you out. So wind does that. Wind doesn't take no prisoners, it doesn't give a shit. And this particular wind, the Santa Anas, are really volatile, very strong, hot as well. They bring out a lot of they blow all the clouds away, and you get like lovely blue skies all the time. Like, I mean, LA residents know all this, Southern Californians know all this, and it's great. That's why you live there. So, you know, anyone who knocks people for like, oh, you should know what's happening there, it's ridiculous, it's a death trap. Well, for a long time, people live there for 40, 50 years, and they've seen certain environments take place, but most of them have been totally happy. And then suddenly you get this, which is catastrophic. It's apocalyptic. I don't know. A lot of people say there's certain perpetrators who've been lighting these fires. We've heard about these, and yeah, I'm sure they have been. Conspiracy theorists are really leaping on this one, as you would expect. Nothing happens in this world today without conspiracy theorists, saying their piece. And I'm now, having worked for the government, the military for many, many years, having seen, witnessed, exposed, and seen how things can be manipulated and lied about and construed and constructed for certain things, and been involved in certain things which have been constructed for political and military gain, which I'm not proud of, I'll be honest, but hey ho, it is what it is, and I know what I'm talking about. So all the conspiracies right now for this, yeah, they're dropping thermite. Thermite can't be extinguished by water. The reaction, you need a lot of water to take out, a hell of a lot of water to take out thermite. Thermite's used to underwater rigs and stuff, and you can weld underwater, deep underwater with thermite. That's what you use. So they were saying like drones were dropping thermite. Well, I don't know. Were they? I've seen no evidence of that. I'm also not averse to the fact that it may have happened, but why? Are you taking out LA because it's Sodom and Gomorrah? Is that what it is? It's the nest of, they're all evil. Look, folks, you watch this channel because you're into movies, and the people that make the movies tend to live in Hollywood, and without them, we don't get the movies. So look, if you got the chance to, make a lot of money and make movies, where are you going to go to be close on hand to make your movie, your big new blockbuster, because you're loving what you're doing? You're going to live in LA, aren't you? So, are you suddenly a bastard? Have you sold out? Are you a cunt to the rest of us? No, you're not. I know, like Gibson and Mad Mel, the big Gibbo, who I love and adore, has called out a lot of the shit that Hollywood's all about. And it's not like we don't know this, but it isn't just celebrities living there. And the ratio, you're thinking about one maybe 2-3% of the population, not even that, to be honest, are celebrities and film stars. The rest are people like you and me, living day to day, got a business, they've got a family, and they live in that area, and now they've lost fucking everything. And the huge homeless. So this will highlight this as well, you know. The homeless is a ridiculous. You've got elite, you've got destitute, living literally. There they are, right there in their luxury mansions, and the destitute with their cat and their dog, and they're giving all their food to the cat and the dog, which I, totally endorse, obviously. I'd even sever limbs to feed me animals if I was in that predicament. But that dichotomy there, how does that work? How does that work? It's ridiculous. There's an entire culture, an entire society which is going to really fall afoul. And if it takes a massive disaster like this to highlight all of these dysfunctional societal problems, then, far be it for me to say like it should be so, but if this works to help people be better, then maybe it's a hidden blessing, and that sounds wrong, but we already know now that their fire departments and the forestry service and all the other, because America, so many different people involved in this, and fire departments, head of fire and search and rescue, and this and that. God, there's got too many. There's just too many things going on. LAPD and the FBI and the CIA. Fucking hell! Can someone just put the fire out? Just put me fucking house out of flames, please. Save me, cat. John Carpenter knew all this. Escape from LA. It's John Carpenter and Shirley. What's her fucking name? Shirley Walker. I forgot her name now. Who's a great composer. This is Escape from LA. A film I do not like, by the way. You guys all know that I'm a massive fan. I couldn't be a bigger fan of Escape from New York. I went to its premiere in the UK. I was there. Its premiere. I am that old. I have all of Snake Plissken's kit and caboodle, the life clock, the Mac 10, everything, the tracker, everything, the boots, the kecks, everything. Escape from LA come out, and I was like, oh, can't wait for this. Plan Your Escape. An image of Snake Plissken, on a motorcycle with LA ablaze, a wall of fire behind a big inferno. And I thought, wow, it's going to be great. And it wasn't. It wasn't. Everyone asked me to review it, because you all know Kurt Russell is King Kurt, is the god, But Escape from New York, The Thing, Big Trouble in Little China, and many. Backdraft. My God, Kurt Russell fought fires in Backdraft. Holy shit! There you go again. And but then Escape from LA come out, and Carpenter didn't want to do it. We know he didn't want to do it. It was just that the fans demanded it, and Kurt Russell said, like, look, I'll do it only if I can fit into the old costume, which he does for the first scene, because he's breathing in. Right, can we change costume now? Yeah, leather pants and a big stealth jacket. Fucking crap costume. I am not a fan of Escape from LA. I watch it and try to find things to enjoy. And I love Kurt. Kurt's in there, but even it's not his real hair. He's got hair extensions. It's his real hair in Escape from New York, but when he made this Escape from LA, his hair was shorter. He tried to grow it, but he didn't do it. So you had to have hair extensions put in there. And it looks like it is. And you got the Wiltshire Boulevard and oh God, the surfing with Peter Fonda. Oh, sweet Jesus. The CG shark. Oh God, it's garbage. It's garbage. The world's worst fucking bad guy ever. This town can fucking kill anybody, you know. And like, Escape from New York, you have him fighting with a spiked baseball bat with slag in an arena. In this, you have him like fucking bouncing the basketball, fucking hell, a basketball, and trying to shoot some hoops. Absolute fucking crap to a time limit. It is bollocks beyond belief. And the effects are awful, and it just doesn't work. It's a comedy. It's a comedy piss take of Escape from New York, and I'm ashamed to say that I own a copy of it. But I still love John Carpenter. I still love St. Plissken. Plissken is the man. And but it's weird that Escape from New York preempted many things. They Live preempted many things. Assault on Precinct 13 preempted many things. Even Halloween did as well, like authoritarian stance of mental health issues. Carpenter has always been there, way before the time, and then things happen. Escape from New York, Twin Towers, planes, New York, terrorists, presidents in trouble. Yep. Escape from LA. LA, Sodom and Gomorrah, gets demolished. Walls of fire and problems, but it's mainly earthquakes that do it. But it does seem very prescient that John Carpenter could come up with these things way back in the day, being very anti-authoritarian himself, and knew what was going to go on. Corrupt governments, corrupt local politicians. He knew what was happening, and he went wrong. Carpenter, mate, you know, your last few films were shit. Let's be honest. You play video games, and you've sold all your best characters and best stories to the worst studios known to man, Blumhouse. But anyway, you know, but you knew your stuff. You knew where you were going. You knew what you were saying, and you did it on the sly, and you made cult favourite movies. But you got your political agenda and your insight into the psyche of audiences. And for that, I will forever applaud you. You're the demigod of movies. My favourite director of all time, John Carpenter. But on any shadow of a doubt. No matter how much shit he made after, like the likes of Big Trouble in China. No, but Prince of Darkness. No, I can't allow it. In the Mouth of Madness, though, outstanding, and They Live, outstanding. But everything before that, fantastic, you know. So I'm not sure where Big JC lives these days. I'm not sure if he's in LA. I don't know. It could be. But I hope he's safe. I say James Wood's house survived for now. Jamie Lee has fucked everything up with stupid comments, which, you know, I don't get why she said that. That's alarmingly daft. But people say things in extremis, you know. So I may re-abridge that. I don't know. My thoughts on that. But Billy Crystal, Jeff Bridges, Mel Gibson, Paris Hilton, John Goodman, Anna Faris, Carrie Elwes, you know, and there's many others, obviously. And by the time it's recording, I bet a lot more has happened, because it's going to die down, they say. I think it died down today. The winds died down today, but they are due back in the next couple of days. And they're meant to exceed the wind that they had to begin with. So only going to make things a million times worse. And you know, like, it's night time now in the UK, so it's daylight in LA. But you've got daylight, you've got smog and fumes and smoke and ash. That's all you got. Now, the thing is, I know people that work in firefighting, and I've got friends who work in Canada who do firefighting in Canada, out in the wilds there, wildfires. And see, nighttime's the best time, because only then can you see where embers are lighting, unless you're using thermals, and depending on how much fire there is, and it's leaping around you. You don't use thermals, it's going to blind yourself anyway. So fire's there, but at night time you can see where an ember is lit over there or behind you, like 20 yards, 30 yards, 50 yards. You can see it in the darkness, you can see it in daylight, but with the smoke you can't see fuck all. You can't see a damn thing. But at night time you can see a flicker. So you're like, right, we're fighting this. One's going to come up over there, turn the hoses on that and put it out. So nighttime's actually a better time. You know, I'm no expert on this, quite obviously, but I know people that do this stuff. And only things I've gleaned and heard from those. But it's frightening. There's nothing more frightening than fire. We're getting floods all the time. We're going to get this because all the frozen shit that we've had the last week or so, incessant snow and ice and sleet and ice and sleet and ice and snow and ice and sleet. Fucking, it's like, actually, right here, right now, today, we're fine. There's nothing. The temperature has risen, but that's not the same for the southern counties. The southern counties of the UK. You twats that never got any extra. Oh, we've got palm trees and we bask in the weather. It's lovely down here. Up north, you get rain. Well, you've got fucking snow, and you've been snowbound, icebound, and you're fucked up. Well, hey, what goes around comes around, so fucking suck it up. Try and chisel up. And you pussies, put it in your whiskey. Because us up here, he says, with a bottle of bud, they've got no whiskey in the hizzy. We don't put ice in our whiskey, but you southern pussies, I bet you do. And you've got plenty of it right now, have you not? Yeah. Oh, to have had a glass of whiskey right then. Ah, damn it. But me and Mrs. Kilt-Man were out before. I've had plenty. Don't you worry about that. So, LA, plan your escape. It ain't looking good. It's gonna, and it's, even if things, the time's going, I don't know. I've not heard anything up for an entire afternoon now, so I don't know how things have progressed. Probably far worse. There's 16 dead. I think it's 16 dead so far. But that will massively go up because there's 20, 30 at this time missing. So who knows? And yeah, it's not a good way to go, is it? Let's be honest. But defending your own house against, enemies, against the weather, against the environment, against aliens, defend your property. I massively believe in that. But there does come a time when you've got to learn something like, shit, it's just possessions. It's just possessions. This, your body and your loved ones, what comes first. So please, I've got friends out there in LA. I've not really heard a great deal from any of them because they're obviously, they're in flight and they're in flux and they're in FEMA, which is probably even worse when you think about it. Trump is going to come in less than a week's time. And he does not like the politics of California, and he will do something about this. Gavin Newsom, you're going to be you'll be out in Siberia, mate. You have a little outpost in Greenland. That's where you're going. because you've been an absolute cunt, let's be honest. And who's the other? Karen Bass. You know, you had all these years to realise what the threat was. You did nothing. You did nothing. You know, these airdrops of the red retardants, you know, are great. They put, but it's like putting it, you know, an elastoplast, a band-aid on like a chainsaw wound. You know, it's just gonna go no. It just, I'll sneak a list a bit up, but it's well worse everywhere else. Transport planes, expensive. Helicopters, dangerous. High winds, you can't put them up in the first place because they're gonna crash. Helicopters, especially. Helicopters are really fucking. Everyone loves helicopters. Oh, you see them in all the movies, and they're always used. Helicopters. John Carpenter loves helicopters. Going back to the movies, massively. He got his pilot's license and helicopter license. So did Kurt Russell, of course. Flies his own planes. Planes are great because planes can glide and planes have other engines. Once your helicopter engine goes out, you're fucked. You have to find a way to come down slowly using your turbines, and it doesn't happen very often. Once it's gone out, you're fucked basically. Any helicopter pilot will tell you this. It's a nasty environment to be in. So, and these guys are out there, and they can't drop a great deal. They're doing reconnoitering. They're spotting where the fires are going, where they're moving to next. And again, they fly over, and it's heading east. And they fly over again. They come back. It's heading west because the wind has changed the direction of that fire. And the fire is a living entity. It moves across areas. It consumes. It doesn't go back, but it consumes more, but it moves that way, but it's always moving further away and heading towards, well, in this particular case, residences. For those of you who are massive movie score fans, which of course I am, I cover movie scores a lot on this channel. I have been in touch with many people involved in movie scoring and archiving movie scores, producing movie scores from time immemorial, and this is, you know, this is the personal aspect of it. They're ignoring their own personal belongings and going to their vault of old manuscripts from composers like Jerry Goldsmith and John Barry and whoever, and saving those and all their recordings, which are super rare, and they're trying to get those out of the house, and they can see down the road that there's plumes of smoke down literally half a mile away, and with those winds that could be with you within a minute or two. It can be. So, and they're seeing all this, and they're getting all these manuscripts and old movie, you know, records out to try to save those. They're leaving behind family heirlooms because, you know, they think that this is more important because it's the legacy of somebody else rather than their own legacy. I cannot knock that at all. That's amazing. They're thinking beyond, even in a time of absolute disaster, they're thinking beyond that, beyond their own stuff. I don't know, folks. Scary times, very scary times. This is huge. There's so much more I could have discussed with this, so much more. There was many more notes. Poor construction material, bad land management. I think that was the phrase I was trying to come up with before. Bad land management, hydrants with no water, reservoir closed, and twats of local government and federals. Terrible. and it's not going to end. This is going to cost billions and billions of dollars to put right, to rebuild. Should you rebuild? There's another video here. Should you rebuild? Well, you can rebuild there. The most fertile land is land that's been scorched. Scorched earth is the best land. Everything grows back really great and better than it ever was before. But do you want to live there now? In a flame path? Do you want to do that? Santa Ana winds are going to do this all over again and again and again and again. But you put fire breaks in. You have better constructed buildings, and don't build on those slopes. When the fire's going to come over those and come down and consume everything in its path and head towards the coast. Why would you do that? You're not going to do that now. So all these, Pacific Palisades and Malibu, and that's going to Brentwood. Why would anyone want to be in those areas, knowing what's just happened now? Why would you want to be there? You can't put into practice the best safety precautions ever. You need a fucking Logan's Run big dome, a big bubble dome to protect you. It won't happen. It won't happen. So these areas are now going to be nothing. So where's everyone going to go? Where are these 153,000 people that have been relocated so far? And in fact, that's a conservative estimate. There's a lot more than that. They put out the emergency thing the other day and hit everybody in the entirety of California to move to an emergency establishment. Northern California is not afflicted by this. They've had rain. Southern California has had no rain, drought. That's not unusual. That's the norm for them. But it's a catalyst. It's a huge coming together of so many things. And some of you are going like, "Why? It's drones. It's drones with thermite." Well, I don't know. It's these eco warriors trying to prove their point by setting fire. Well, right now I live in an age where I believe fucking everything, because anything can happen. And I choose not to believe what anyone official tells me, because they're all liars and cunts and deceivers. So, I'm going to look elsewhere. And I urge you all to look elsewhere. Don't listen to their narrative. They come out with an agenda. And like, oh, fuck off. It's lies. It's deceit. But this could well be just simply natural causes. But it's made worse. But humans shouldn't be living there. The fire would have raged and just gone across to the coast and died out. Boof. But no, people chose to live there. So it's going to happen, isn't it? You're in the path of a big conflagration. Well, you're going to burn, aren't you? But that doesn't make it right. Things should be put in practice where you can have fire breaks and you can have the proper contingencies and resources to put these things out before they gain vigor and take hold. But again, I'm drawn to John Carpenter. But he did it again, didn't he? Now, he didn't say that LA was on fire, although it definitely does get shown to be on fire. But his poster, which you're going to see as the thumbnail on this video, it's Snake Plissken and it's Plan Your Escape from LA, and the whole thing behind it was a wall of flame. Now, I'm not saying like, oh wow, isn't that great, I could use that. I don't want to be using that in this context. So anyway, folks, again, it's a shitstorm. It is, and I wish it wasn't happening. I wish everyone to be safe and to get out of it. A house is just a house, and everyone's, oh, you've got money, you can buy more. Well, That's irrelevant. Your house is where your memories are, where your family grew up. You know, it's where you made your home. That's gone. You've seen, you watched the footage of people who've gone back. These are not celebs, by the way. These are normal people. If your heart doesn't break watching that, then, well, something wrong with you. You've got no heart to break in the first place. So anyway, there's a lot more to discuss about this. And in the fullness of time, I'm sure I'll be discussing it a lot more. Because heads will roll on this. Heads will roll. Trump's going to come in and he'll fucking destroy these guys. The governor, the mayor, they've had it. They are gone, long gone. Bizarre that Mexico, we're gonna send over our rescue crews and teams and our fire department. And like Newsom said, like, oh, because we're friends, we do the same for them. What bullshit is that? They hate each other. There's no only the border does it, the invisible border. But oh my God, you're gonna help each other out. This is politics again. So, folks, in the meantime, in this ever like, put your asbestos suit on in between time. Please keep it Kilty, keep it Celtic, and I'm gonna see you all. No, I've got friends out there, and I want to hear that they're okay, and I don't know. And this thing's going to kick off all over again. Whether it's designed, I don't know. I think weather is weather, and but if you're a twat and you're a bureaucratic twat and you've got an agenda and you've got some kind of, we're gonna do something, we're gonna, like 9/11, we've got another disaster, we've got to do this, to do that, and to do this, and to do that, but we need a big disaster, a big call. We can let natural weather take place and we'll just do nothing to thwart it, and we'll turn the water off as well. Just saying, folks, just saying. Right, be safe, be happy, be healthy, and enjoy every moment of your life, because I think, if anything, this kind of signposts the fact that you can go up in flames any fucking moment, and you can. And like, wow, I'll defend my house. I've always been the one, the last stand. Your mate's having a fight and like he's got his head fucking kicked in, and like what the other mates have bugged out. I have always stood beside my stricken buddy and fucking took down and took a few knocks as well. Oh, don't get me wrong. I mean, look at my face. You can tell I've got a face like a bag of elbows. So I know I've had a few fucking kicks and snottings to the face. But I won't leave your mate behind. I won't do that. You should never do that. But I won't preach to anyone. Like, if you want to run, save your life, fine. But don't leave anyone behind. That's my ideology. So, leaving your house, and I can imagine I'd be the same as well. I am not leaving my house. This is mine. I will. And there are guys who survive. I think I tried to say before, who hosed down their areas because his house burnt down back in the early 90s. I'm gonna fucking do this. And he fought back. He choked on fumes and smoke and all that. Like, but he saved his house. Got damaged, but he saved his house. Well, that's great. I commend that. That's brilliant. It doesn't always work. So I'm never gonna say to you, like, just get out, save yourself. If you want to stay and save whatever's yours and precious to you, I can't say don't do it because I know I do it myself. So there you go. And Pliskin will be the same. He won't. Pliskin doesn't give a shit. You know, president or what? He don't give a fuck about your president or your war. You know, he doesn't give a shit. You know. Right, I'll be back with more conventional stuff very soon. So I'm out of here. But for God's sake, you know, nature and the world is nasty. It doesn't want us because we're a pestilence on this planet. We are an abhorrence. We destroy the environment. Nature doesn't do that. Animals don't do that. They live in cahoots. They work together, and the natural food chain and the environment works. We come in and we fucked everything up. Fucked everything up. So is it any wonder that we're getting eradicated? Just gonna throw that out there for you. For those of you who stayed along for this. But LA. Oh, God save you. This ain't looking good, and I know the conspiracy theories and people are going like, you know, you deserve it. I've binned off many people on social media for saying shit like that, because no, you guys watch movies, I watch movies, we love and talk about movies. The people that make these movies, they live there, a lot of them. So without them, we've got nothing to talk about, nothing to watch. So we need to like take a step back. And if you had your chance to be in movies, well, let's do you want to move out to LA? Because you're going to make a lot of money and bring your family out. Lovely weather. You're going to fucking do it. You might think twice now. Hollywood may relocate. There's another video for you. There's another video. We'll talk about that at some point. Anyway, I'm fucking starving. So RT, you may have seen Mr. Kilt-Man moving around here. Skull that he made, and so there's stuff in the oven. I'm not sure what, but I can smell it already, and it smells meaty and delicious. And yes, hey, let's finish this off. Be safe. Don't burn your fingers now. Think about your property, think about your loved ones, think about what you're going to do when shit happens. Because all of us are going to face this at some point. I totally believe that. We're all going to face a natural or even man-orchestrated catastrophe on your doorstep. What will you genuinely do when the lights go out, power goes out, and no one is in charge to tell you? Think about that. What will you do? Can you cling to your neighbours? Can you cling to local police forces? Well, even when things aren't going, completely catastrophically tits up, in this country, you cannot cling to your police force at all. And I know that for a fact. For a fact. So, on that cheery note, come on guys. Kilt-Man's always going to be here. He'll find some generator to even on the brink of the apocalypse, I'll still be broadcasting shit and shinola,